on another episode of My Watch Lifestyle. We're here in a remote location, but I'm bringing y'all guys something exclusive. I have the owners of the independent brand Habring right here. They all in Austria. I have them here today, and they're going to tell. We're just going to talk a little bit about watches. They're going to tell you about their brand. I know you guys love the watches. I told you I'll bring you all exclusive. So we're here today. How you guys doing? Thank you for being on My Watch Lifestyle. I love your watches. You know, thanks to my guy Martin, as usual, for always hosting us. But I love you guys' watches. I love that you guys do independent, and y'all make some of the greatest watches coming out of Austria. How did you guys get started? Tell us a little bit about your brand, because I'm sure the people would love to hear it.
Actually, this is right in time for our 15th birthday. So we started in 2004 by presenting our very first watch, which was kind of simple 3 hands time only watch, and starting from there with the very first production of 12 pieces per year, and meanwhile with a lot of changes, our very own in-house movement since 2014, and going further, and enjoying still what we enjoyed in the past, having fun.
These are new ones?
Yes.
This is a split-second perpetual. 5-minute repeater. Split second date. Split second. Split second.
That's in fact the cost date.
COS date. Split second. Split second date. Mono pusher. Hand wound. Mono pusher, hand wound. Mono pusher, hand wound.
All exclusive Habrings.
Habring itself is exclusive.
Yeah, this is true. How did you get into watches? What was your love for watches?
It's passion.
Passion?
Yes, of course. You must feel it. Yeah. The reason is to enjoy what you do, yeah? And not to make money only. Yeah.
It's not necessarily where you're coming from. I'm originally. I grew up in a watch store. My mother's watch store somewhere in the Austrian countryside, and but even during I well remember when I came home from watchmaking school once that it takes 4 years in Austria, and I was someone in the third, and I came back home sitting in the back of my mother's store and thought myself, is this really the thing I want to do? And since she was not a trained watchmaker, and I was not really confessed to do watch repairs, so I wanted to go further, and I wanted to find out. But so far, it sounds like a kind of classical career, but it was not necessarily, because, as you know, Austria does not have any history, or any known history on watches, on watch production.
Rated chronograph.
Probably all these.
So this is starting the chronograph with the crown. The chronograph minutes counter is on the center of the dial. So we'll say it's ZM.
Yep.
Right? So it's going to count the minutes off the center of the dial, and it's in a standard pilot's format. So it's a chronograph that looks like a pilot's watch, but you still have technically an event timer that's going to count up to an hour.
Wow.
Stop, reset, start again.
Most of the watches are produced in Switzerland or have some kind of Swiss origin. You guys are from Austria. How is the watch market there? How does, is it any other watch companies? We don't have to talk about other watch companies. But how do you how did you become saying, you know, we're going to stay in Austria and we're going to produce everything out of Austria? Are you guys 100% in-house, or do you subcontract out?
I would say it's crazy to do something like what we do in Austria, because we are the first, I would say,
Yes.
for wristwatches, and the only one at the moment.
I mean, we did it on purpose. I mean, Maria comes from Saxony. She's born in Dresden. We met in Dresden when I was working in Glashütte for 5 years. So at that time, we wanted to start our very own project. We've been considering, or the consideration was whether we wanted to be the 12th brand in Glashütte or the first brand in Austria. So
you made it number one. So you
Yeah.
gotta create your own sometimes. That's how it goes.
and since 2004 we are working on kind of trying to bring Austria's watchmaking back when it used to be where it used to be before 1890, because there was some watchmaking, there was some clockmaking even more in Austria, and believe it or not, one of the very first main markets for Austrian clocks from the region of Graz was, you know, Philadelphia.
We trendsetters. We trendsetters in the watch business. You heard it here first, folks. Habring just gave us a history lesson from Philadelphia.
And we are trying to catch this little part of history and moving it further. And of course, Austria does not have a watchmaking industry infrastructure, so we have to select some specialists for machining part, which are usually working in automotive productions, and of course, I mean, there is some core industry in Switzerland and Germany. You cannot deny some very special parts like hair springs or whatever. Those parts have to come from those watchmaking centers, from the well-known ones. So there is a majority on Swiss subcontractors, small family businesses in our background, which are connected with us with a very healthy business relationship, which is built on give and take, just simple give and take. So
fair business is for us important, between our suppliers and us. This is our base.
Yes.
To
Yes.
trust each other, and yes, it's a give and a take.
reliability, sustainability. So profit is of course important, but profit is not everything. I mean, there are other factors. We are working after the motto, together we are strong. I mean, the watch industry changes a lot during the last years with forming bigger and bigger groups, concentration, verticalization. So there is a lot of movement, and there are a lot of small, highly specialized family companies in the background of watch industry who are facing troubles out of that. And who else than the small independent brands are able to catch up with them and to form something new? And we are happy that this entire movement in the moment in the Swiss watch industry, for instance, does not only provide negative aspects, but it provides as well positive aspects to small players out of this give and take. So.
One is running. Stops the first. Second. Reset.
Habrings is beautiful. Man, it's beautiful. It's different when you get when the people who make the watch do it. It makes it look even better, right? Because now we look at it and we see watches getting more. It's more of a global thing. you're starting to get more brands than ever popping up. Some good, some bad, but it is happening. So, you said you had a background in watchmaking. Of course, you were brains for an operation. I already knew that. But what watch companies did you work for in the past to lead you to have your own brand? Like, was that something that said, well, I work for this company and that company, so now what led you to start to this brand?
Actually, our move to be on our own was highly influenced by the experience we did with the last big companies we've been working with. In my case, it was with watchmaking.
And in my case, in travel business.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's cool. So what projects are you working on now? Like, as far as your watches, you bringing them to market. How many watches do you produce a year?
Currently, we
Between 150 and 200 pieces per year. And we do not have any watch in stock. Yeah, all watches are produced after order.
Okay.
So currently we cannot say how many watches will be produced this year, as we don't have a target so far. The target is to provide enough watches to our partners, to our retailers, to provide enough watches to our clients all over the world. And if there is more demand, of course, they have to wait a little more, but there is no need for us to produce more. It's a kind of healthy growth, though we're not necessarily interested to grow even bigger than we are at the moment.
This is a dial for perpetual. This is a dial for perpetual. This is the first dial we showed for perpetual. And we were just discussing that sometimes we have clients that don't see well up close, and that there's not enough contrast for all the information that's on the dial for them to see these white hands against copper. So there's an execution where all the hands are done in blue. And then you have more contrast. And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is
What
the
I
dial.
told you.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This one works for a perpetual, and this one works for a perpetual calendar. Split second perpetual calendar.
I told you it was super exclusive. And I tell you, super exclusive. They make watches when they feel like it. They make watches for special clients, special retailers. The watches is great. Called Habring. Check them out if you can find one. You always can get one at Martin Pulley. Gotta plug Martin Pulley, that's my guy. You always can get one there, but check them out. They're here in America, in stateside. I have them first here on Mywatchlifestyle. It was a pleasure having you. It was our pleasure here meeting you guys. And, stay tuned. You'll never know who I told you, we find the most exclusive watchmakers around the world, the most brands around the world. You don't know where we're going to be. We might be in a cave somewhere, finding watchmakers making watches in caves. Stay tuned. Mywatchlifestyle, Habring. We're going to go get some food or something, so we see y'all later. We're in America.
Let's go back to our cave.